Welcome everyone to the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. I'm your host, Michael Pickering. That's right, Lo-Fi as in low fidelity, low quality, in your face, messy as can be global news show. Here we're going to talk about that famous question, what's going on in the world today? It's Thursday, Lo-Fi Nation. Time for that Lo-Fi Global News. Fresh off the press. Source, Reuters World News. Facebook rejects request to release Myanmar officials' data for genocide. Tech companies. For some reason, you just can't stay out the news. At the International Court of Justice, the representative for the country of Gambia is requesting that Facebook release communications from the Myanmar military as it relates to the Rohingya genocide, which Gambia is accusing the Myanmar military of. Normally I'd give you a 5 count on Facebook's response, but it was in the headline. They argue it would break U.S. law by doing so. Watch your ears, Lo-Fi listeners. I'm about to holla at Facebook. Rather loudly, real quick. Hey Facebook! This is across the world, and you can't tell me that data is stored on servers in the US. And this is about a genocide trial? Wake up, tech industries, and do something good in the world today. Next up, source, AP News International. China sentences 3rd Canadian to death on drug charges. Now this is a country that doesn't play around with drug dealers. Earlier this year, we brought you news of an Australian being sentenced to death in China for narco-trafficking, and this is in fact the 3rd Canadian to face the death penalty. Reportedly, the authorities confiscated 266 pounds of ketamine that the defendant created for distribution. I don't know, Lo-Fi Nation. Does being convicted of dealing really equal the death penalty? Write in, let me know your thoughts. Now, moving forward, because we never move on from anything. Source, Reuters World News. Belarus says it has detained U.S. nationals, Belta. It seems President Lukashenko of Belarus and tech companies have something in common today. Neither of them can stay out of the headlines. Lukashenko last week arrested over 30 Russian nationals and is accusing them of trying to meddle in the upcoming presidential election. And this story about the U.S. nationals being arrested has absolutely no details as of yet. But these arrests add to the president's arguments that foreign powers are trying to intervene in the elections, and makes him look as though he's taking a hard stance against election meddling. Of course, the opposition is not buying this at all. We'll keep you updated as we find out more for sure. And now, Lofi Poli Sci, it's time to remember our past as human beings. Our following story comes from the BBC World section. Hiroshima bomb. Japan marks 75 years since nuclear attack. In 1945, 75 years ago, on August 6th, at 8:15 a.m., the U.S. dropped the world's first nuclear weapon on Hiroshima, Japan, killing 140,000 people. This date was marked with a memorial service with survivors and descendants of those who were affected. The message? Let there always be peace. I couldn't agree more. We're all human beings, no matter where we live in the world, what language we speak, what customs or creed we hold. We're all people. Let us never forget that again. Always remember. And a last piece of news to send you on your way for the day. Source, BBC News, Science section. Climate change. Satellites find new colonies of emperor penguins. And what better way to end today's show than with a story of flourishing life, about one of my favorite animals and one of my favorite places, penguins in Antarctica. The new estimations are that the emperor penguin colonies have grown by around 5 to 10%. Bringing the total number of penguins to about 278,000 breeding pairs, meaning over 500,000 individuals. I couldn't be happier for you, my penguin brethren. Keep swimming strong. And that's a brief snapshot of what's going on in the world today. Stay tuned for tomorrow's episode of Good News Friday. Always remember that Lo-Fi Poli Sci is more than just me. It's the we that we be. Write in with questions or comments to lofipolisci@planetmail.com. Thanks for listening. Stay safe, wash those hands, and I'll see you on the next episode of the Lofi Poli Sci podcast. Pickering, signing off.